this kind of criticism to DeFi also comes at a time where the Ethereum and ETH holder community is especially sensitive, I would say, because of the underperformance of ETH versus other cryptocurrencies. And I think there's some kind of doubt on how the Ethereum layer 1 is working, when it seems like layer 2s are being a bit parasitic to the layer 1s, because we're seeing all this activity on layer 2s, but not a lot of that value is transferring or being reflected in layer 1 or on ETH. So yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on how can all this growing DeFi ecosystem and activity reflect, or how can ETH capture that value if everything is being built on layer 2s, or most of it is happening on layer 2s?
Well, one interesting thing about the layer 2s is that they need to acquire ongoing basis the block space of layer 1. So essentially they need to buy ETH to spend it to actually write storage into Ethereum. So I do think that kind of like the idea of like the more layer 2s there are, different use cases, that's beneficial for Ethereum. So I do think that really works, because that also helps to create L2s that can actually progress faster on some sort of areas where they want to experience more with, let's say, better account management that takes way longer time to actually adopt on layer 1. So you can actually experiment more faster. Or you can create a layer 2 specifically for one type of DeFi activity and optimize it really well. Or it can be just not necessarily like purely a rollup, but like a Validium that, for example, we're doing with Lens Network, where we're submitting the state transitions into Ethereum, but using something else for storage. And also that's kind of a hybrid solution. So all these kind of solutions are helpful for Ethereum. And I just think it's more about, and I do think long-term Ethereum is really a great solution, whatever you want to build and also scale down the line. And the roadmap is really interesting from scalability perspective. And the question is more than kind of like, is this the final way of scaling, or is there going to happen something else? For now, it looks really good. But maybe one issue is that when we have all these networks, how we abstract that away from the user experience and make it more easier for users to interact with different L2s, and kind of like how L2s can actually work together and make more seamless, and maybe kind of like strengthen the Ethereum ecosystem by working together in overall. So I do think there's value capture long term, so it's built in, but it's more about how to bring everyone closer together is kind of like more interesting topic to solve. Sure.
But just to clarify, do you think it's a matter of time then that Ethereum will start, seeing this value being driven to ETH, the asset? I guess like as more and more activity happens on layer 2, layer 2s will have to buy more and more block space on Ethereum layer 1, and that eventually will go to ETH, the asset.
Yeah, I also think the challenge is that a layer 2 that has a lot of traction can, they can decide to move in other networks, because at that point it's a question where they save the storage essentially, and what execution layer there's gonna be. So I think there might be cases where one particular network is big enough that maybe the most financially beneficial thing is actually not to pay storage to Ethereum. So that's kind of like a one challenge I would see. But I think it's all about how kind of like you can align as a community, because Ethereum alignment doesn't necessarily mean that all these L2s need to align towards the Ethereum values, but also like how Ethereum can actually support all these builders at the same time that are really valuable for the whole ecosystem. And that's really interesting challenge in my opinion, especially because there's so many contributors.